This podcast contains spoilers and swearing. Wow! Merry Christmas! All right, everyone. Hello. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. That's because we, the Book of Noel, are right here reviewing another terrible Christmas film for you. I'm Joe Deeney. I'm joined by Sazzie Kluvitse. I'm joined by Conal Deeney. And I'm joined by Lizzy Denning. I'm also joined by a lovely little baby inside Lizzy's belly. So we've got just two more films to do. We have got A Christmas Detour and then Falling for Christmas. We've got A Christmas Detour for you today. I think it's one of the most seminal films of the past 25 years. I think someone probably disagreeing is going to be Sazzie with her little brief explanation of how this film goes. Take it away.
It's Christmas. It's Christmas time. We're feeling merry tonight. That's the song that starts off A Christmas Detour, which might possibly be the worst Christmas song I've ever heard, even worse than Christmas fucking rapping by the waitresses. And it carries on in the same vein in an avalanche of sickly nonsense. DJ Tanner from Full House is a writer called Paige Summerland who writes redundant articles for bridal magazines and is in love with a sort of walking slab of marble called Jack, who has just about as much personality as the pale rock he resembles. Paige is just so in love with Jack, she will not stop talking about him to every single person she meets, including strangers just trying to buy stuff and dead-bedded, angry, hetero couple stereotypes. She's so convinced that she and Jack are soulmates that she travels around with a corkboard covered in photos of him, which
it's
is
called the vision board, okay?
Your mum's called a vision board, which is supposed to be okay because they're getting married in 6 months' time, like lunatics. Sunny sociopath Paige is on her way to meet her future hubby's parents, who she seemingly knows nothing about, flying from lovely California to the frigid East Coast, where, of course, her flight and her life are derailed by a supposedly attractive, creepy, snarky, sarcastic man with a faux hawk that he's too old for called Dylan. Anyway, after many hilarious shenanigans, A Christmas Detour once again reminds us that women don't really know what they want, and all it takes is an awkward kiss, constant negging, and just standing by a table in a restaurant to make us bin off our whole lives. Thanks very much. I hate it. I'm delighted to be here.
I think we all need to sit down and really talk about what Christmas means to us. Conal, it's the canopsis. Yeah. Do your worst.
Canopsis. Paige, an insufferable, delusional woman with a mood board, needs to get to New York to meet her future in-laws.
Got the vision board.
I know, but it's all the same, innit? It's all shite. She rattles on to anyone who'll listen about a soulmate and never stops with the anti-feminist mentality of being someone's wife above all else. The most handsome man in all the airport, Dylan Smith, who owns an airport bar. Is that what it was?
I don't think he even owns it. He's
just in an airport bar, isn't he? Like behind the bar, and his mate's like, "Go away."
And he's always chipping off and giving advice how to do a cocktail. Fuck off, man. That's my job.
No, I like that. I like if you know it, dish it out, give it up, let people know. Anyway, where am I? He owns an airport bar, maybe. I don't know what his situation is. He's in a bar at some point, and it looks like he works there. He kind of grooms Paige into cross-nobbing eventually, but I'll get to that in a sec. He hates his own family because his brother shagged his fiancée. So he doesn't mind dishing it out, but he can't take it. They get on the same plane and sit next to each other. She talks to him non-stop about weddings and soulmates. And somehow he falls in love with that, even though it's really fucking frustrating. We also meet a couple called Frank and Maxine, and I can honestly say that I do not give one single fuck about anything that they do in this whole entire film. There is no need for them there. Get rid. Deadwood. Fuck off, the lot of you. They should have cross-knobbed. Why did they not cross-knob? That would have been fun. They get grounded mid-flight in Buffalo, a lovely place, named after the beast. The big beast with the shoulders and the head. And that's due to snow, yeah? And they have to make their own way to NYC. The couple, the boring couple, and Paige, they fluster and panic. How are we going to get to New York? It's too hard. There's no other options. The trains aren't running, and there's literally no other way of getting there. And Dylan rolls up like Johnny Big Bollocks.
That is one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in cinema. He rides up and goes, and the camera loves him, and it zooms in a bit. And I think there's actually a ding on his teeth.
Yeah,
I love
it's
that
excellent,
so
isn't it?
much.
So yeah,
That's the best thing I've ever seen.
He pulls up
the trauma
with his lovely face in an SUV. Now that's an all-terrain sports utility vehicle, perfect for driving through the snow. He's a thinking man, He's got a lot upstairs.
He didn't panic.
He says something cool like, "Hop in," or "There's plenty of room in the car," or something. He's wittier than me. They get in, but Paige sees that as kind of cheating in a way. When you think about it, it's kind of cheating, isn't it, to get in someone else's car to get somewhere that you need to be. It is kind of cheating, that.
That's why I never take an Uber. I walk.
Yeah, don't be cheat. Ugh. Could you imagine?
Slags take Ubers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's going on a Christmas jumper next year.
When Joe gets booked by the Uber CEOs.
Honestly, I'm so corrupt. I would do it like that. I'm like FIFA. You're looking at Sepp Blatter.
Can we have Book of Noel merch for next year? Pictures of our faces with
man.
Slags take Ubers underneath.
One with jazz spiders on it.
Oh, the jazz spider.
Well, it begins and ends with Mr. Napkinhead, really, doesn't it? They drive for ages and stop at a Christmas village, yeah? Now, he grooms her a bit, yeah? He rifles through a bag without permission and he looks in a notebook. He learns some important information from that notebook to get this girl, and it's based on being a daft laugh. So he switches the bants up to 11, yeah, and rips right through her. She cannot fucking take it. She's like showing her belly like that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. She loves it. She kisses him, gets confused because he's not the one. And then she runs off and talks to herself in the mirror and convinces herself why it doesn't matter that she's cheated on her fiancé that she loved 10 minutes ago. She makes her own way back to her fiancé's, who turns out to be a proper toff and his mum's proper controlling, like you'd expect. And she's really judgmental and takes over her wedding, which is kind of her only personality trait. So she's a bit fucked there. She's like, what? She decides Jack's not the soulmate that she's looking for. Yeah. Jack can sling his hook because this guy came back. What's his name? Sexy face with
Dylan.
The hair. The chicken head man.
Dylan and Paige.
Lovely Dylan comes and goes, "Oh, you forgot your mood board in my car."
Vision board.
And she's like, "That's the man for me." The mood board delivery man is the man
Vision
for me.
board.
So yeah, then he takes her home to see his mum that he hates, but he kind of likes now. So that's it.
Man alive.
Yeah.
I'm still crying a bit from named after the beast. It really tickled me.
It's nice to go to a place named after a beast. Buffalo sounds like a good place. Can you think of any more beast places?
Turkey.
Man, well done.
Turkey's a great shout.
I mean, it's rubbish and I hated it.
I thought it was brilliant.
I think we've seen different films. The way you described Dylan,
I'll be honest,
hurt me a
yours,
bit.
Sazzie and Conal's description of the plot was totally fucking different. It was like two different films. But it ranks very highly in Hallmark Bingo, of course. And when we had the snowometer from before, the snow game in this film and the next one was off the chart.
A snow scene on this was like badly rendered CGI snow.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I've never seen such big wreaths in the wreaths. There's one on the side of LAX airport that's like a monster truck wheel. It's CG as well, which is why do we even bother?
Talking about the big wreath, I was in Marks and Spencer's today, and they had some Christmas stuff out there, and it was very efficient. Yeah, it was a Christmas tree that was made out of 2 pieces of cardboard that were like stuck together vertically like that, but at the base, this is a cross section. Yeah, this is a cross section of the tree. It was a cross of cardboard.
Conal?
I thought this is a cross section.
Oh, right.
And I just thought they can store them away for next year. No problem. They will be in nobody's way. They'll just put them in one corner. Bam. Get them out next year. Whoa, look at how much room they take up. Isn't it Christmassy in Marks and Spencer's?
It's a very Soviet Christmas.
So, Conal, I think it's me and you against the world here, pal.
Yeah.
Did you love this film?
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And do you know why? The main reason I loved this film was it's kind of the opposite of, what was that Arnie one called? Jingle All the Way, where I stopped it 20 minutes from the end and I'm like, oh my God, there's 20 minutes left and it's all one big scene and I can't stand this shit anymore. Whereas this, he walked into that restaurant and you're thinking, oh God, like, there's plenty more story left to go here. There could be another half hour. You pause it and you're like, 5 minutes? Wicked. Go on, say what you got to say and let's turn this shit off. It just wrapped up like that in no time. The last scene was like, oh yeah, oh, do you want to be my girlfriend now? Yeah, cool. Don't see my mum? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, do you want to be my girlfriend? Sure. Should we take it slowly? No, I was thinking about going to mum's on Christmas Day. You into that?
I know where there's a free bed. Come on.
And she's like, and he's like, do you believe in soulmate, or do you think I'm a soulmate or something? And then she just goes, nah. And you just think we've just spent 2 hours with you banging on about this concept of the one, and just some random dude with a faux hawk who just lectures working class people about how they do their jobs and is like the living embodiment of a really sad "Am I the arsehole?" post on Reddit. It's like, oh, I don't want to go home to my family because my brother stole my girlfriend and none of my family really care about it. So what I did was, like, I prayed to the gods for like a mega snowstorm to fuck over half of America. Am I the arsehole? Like, just hate it. And he's convinced you that no longer this belief that you cared so much about, that you just lectured everyone that came anywhere near you, and this guy, and you're like, nah, guess not, see you later. Awful. I'm so angry with this film.
I think we need to talk about what constitutes a good sense of humor. This is the thing that I right.
I agree with you on that.
The premise is this partner she's got is everything she ever wanted on a very specific checklist. I can't really think what must be on that checklist other than rich and available. But anyway,
ties, hygiene, Lizzy. Good old
ties
hygiene.
behind jumpers.
Yeah,
tie behind a
yeah.
Unsympathetic
that'd be
about
top of my list.
Unsympathetic about acts of God.
Doesn't bother
and doesn't like her driving in a car with another male.
Man.
Yeah.
Doesn't actually look up what's going on with the huge snowstorm that's fucking up your girlfriend's life. She's sleeping in an airport. The creepy stalker man has seen her on the news, but you're like, but where are you? I thought you were getting a plane out this morning. Worst man ever. Sorry.
She breaks up with him and he just doesn't react. He's just like,
Jack, I'm sorry. I can't do this. It just doesn't feel right anymore.
Doesn't give a shit. Yeah.
Right. No, because he's still angry that Dylan isn't an old man with a toupee and teeth that click, because she continually lied. Like, I understand that maybe he's got a jealous streak and we haven't seen the prequel and it's going to turn out he's a really violent, abusive misogynist, and I'd believe it, quite frankly. But she just lies from the very beginning that she can't, because as we know, Ubers are for slags and lifts are for whores.
She's got this list, and the one thing that this guy, is it Jack, whatever his name is, her fiance doesn't have, is GSOH, which is undeniably true. But then actually what she thinks is a good sense of humour, her standard is so low that I think maybe Jack does have one, because it seems to involve saying things that are either unpleasant or just neutral, but leering while you do it. And that means you're a funny man. And like the bit where he it's this sort of euphemistic thing where he can make her snort, we'll just leave it at that, but he can make her snort and her fiance can't. And I had to put the thing back to be like, I must have missed the joke. And I hadn't missed the joke. The joke was him going, bread roll's a bit hard, and he bangs it on the table, and then she snorts with laughter.
Unfortunately, this roll is not going to be one of them.
And that for her is the turning point where she's like, this man is obviously actually my soulmate because he's hilarious. And I just...
Was he waggling it in front of his trousers though? Because then that is really funny. Oh, bread roll, that bit. And she's like,
he's dead. Like every time I think about another plot point of this film, I just get angry.
You remember how good it is.
Because up until that point, I'd not noticed anyone be funny. I thought,
no one's funny.
There's no comedy in this.
It's a very po-faced film.
And then they were selling him as some sort of like Chris Rock to me. And I'm like, nah, I'm not seeing it. Sorry, Dylan. You're a lovely looking man. But when it comes to humour, you can rely on your looks, mate. Don't worry about the humour.
Yeah, I also wanted to talk about magazine journalism because what the fuck? I mean, just like she's written an article for a bridal mag, which is about how to find your soulmate. Why would you buy a bridal mag if you hadn't found your soulmate? That's insane. Like that's a completely badly pitched article. That would not be a cover line. And she would also not get her name on the cover unless she was a big star. So that was weird. I mean, I'm like just
Dawn French
about journalism, but
yeah, just like Dawn French.
Yeah, she'd get a name on cover. She'd get a picture on cover. She was massive.
Also, she buys the magazine for some random woman in the airport, even though they're like 20 quid. They're really expensive. I would never do that with one of my articles. Even in my most ego-driven moments, I would not pay 20 quid to have a stranger read my piece.
I think my favourite bit in the whole film is when that woman, having listened to her rabbit on about how she's so, she's such an expert at finding partners, she gives the woman the money for the magazine. The woman puts the magazine back down and puts the money in her pocket. And I was like, that's the only funny bit in this entire film.
Yeah, that was her soulmate. That's the twist.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He's in the queue and he sees her. He's like, right, that's my mark. And that's how it worked for him. Like, he sits next to her on the plane. He orchestrated that, and he sits next to her, and he follows her around lovely Buffalo. Gets the adjoining room. Yeah, he did that. He did all of that. He was like, I'm going to do that. He shows her himself in a lovely dressing gown.
Also,
while the backwater's dripping off him.
He says he's been in the bath, but his face is wet. I'm like, what kind of baths?
Bobbing for apples in the bath.
Lizzy, do you not wash your face?
Not in the bath. Not in my bubbly, chemically.
Do you not dunk?
No.
I get all this lathered up, all this, and then I submerge, and then I re-emerge like the Swamp Thing.
Thank God. Then you re-emerged, dude.
But his hair was dry.
His hair was dry. That is true.
To me.
He doesn't submerge all the way then, does he? He goes up to his hairline.
He can't commit.
He don't want it to wash off like Jude Law. Jude Law started that practice of submerging to the hairline.
Conal, we're on shaky ground here, pal.
Yeah. That's what happened to mine.
Can you imagine sitting in front of the two of them on the plane? Will you two shut up about soulmates? Wank each other off in the toilet.
If I hear about that fucking magazine one more time, I'll ram it up your ass. Sideways.
You know who I feel sorry for? The couple in between them and Frank and Maxine. Because I thought, I think in my notes at that point when they sat down, started bickering, I was like, oh, great. Enemies to lovers. This is where we're going. And then you've got the middle-aged, sexless, hating each other, sniping couple a row and a back. So the people in the middle are having the worst fucking flight of their lives, and then they get grounded in Buffalo.
Yeah, and then they don't get offered a lift.
They don't get offered a lift.
Like, the annoying couple behind us and the annoying couple in front all got lifts with each other, and they didn't ask us.
I like the subtle characterization that she's called Summerland, because where she's from, she's not Page Christmasland. It's great writing all round.
And she's also called Paige, and she's a writer, Lizzy.
Right?
Did you get it? Did you get it?
And he's called Dylan, and he's one of the most seminal musicians of the 20th century. So,
and he has no sense of humour.
And he can't sing.
Hard bread roll, though.
Hard bread roll's gonna fall.
This film is a hard bread roll. I wanted to talk about weddings as well, because like the wedding is used as the main jeopardy. The jeopardy that means not only she, but like strangers will risk their lives to get on what is clearly not a passable stretch of road in weather conditions that are potentially deadly.
Well, they have a crash. Actually,
yeah, they do.
He's a fake rabbit.
But like, apart from anything else, so she works in wedding magazines, so she knows about weddings. Hers is in 6 months, but she's planned nothing. Like, hasn't got a venue, presumably hasn't done save the dates. But then when he's like, maybe we should postpone it, she's like, oh my god, absolutely not. And it's like, but you probably do need a year to make some choices. I don't know.
You've had a wedding. I was at it.
Yeah,
it was very nice.
Well, I mean, we could have done it in 6 months, but we did take longer over it, because otherwise you go a bit mad.
I liked how they offered her a vol-au-vent and then judged her because she ate the vol-au-vent. That was my favourite bit.
Vol-au-vents as well? You haven't seen them since an 80s wedding?
Yeah. And I know what happened there. She's like me. She doesn't like crumbs. She wants a crumbless society. Yeah. So she ate it whole. She got the vol-au-vent and went, oh, it's a very crummy vol-au-vent. She just put it all in one. What's wrong with that? You'd have looked at her like shit if she'd have got it on your carpet, and rightly bloody so. I've just hoovered there, or the butler's just hoovered there, and you've got crumbs all over my carpet. Well, I tried eating one whole, and you fucking looked down your nose at me, didn't you?
The butler who's working on Christmas Day. So like, Jesus.
There's one bit that stood out to me, and it's when all 4 characters are watching the departure board. And like they're seeing all the delayed and cancelled flights, and they like mix around height wise, and at the end they all line up in height order, and that to me was such a special bit. It was lovely to see short woman, taller than that woman, but shorter man than that man, and then that man, the giant man. It was really nice to see 4 height orders. Who knows? Who knows what it means? Heights in relationships.
Speaking of short men, do we think there's a sequel where she then leaves him for his brother?
I'd like to see it.
Who?
I'd like to see that. His brother must be a charmer.
I think Dylan's got a justified grievance. In that situation, I'll be honest. Conal, if you try that stunt, we're going to have words. I'm not going to come round on Christmas Day and make it awkward. I'll put it that way. I'll do it the honourable way.
But if that happened, if I stole your fiance and I was getting married to her, I would insist that you apologise to me. First, because that's the way it should be, really.
Well, you've given a new perspective on things, Con. That you're better than me, so I would have to apologise for not knowing that before.
Yeah, alpha. That's what I'd say. Yeah, go find your own.
No,
go find your own.
I mean, what made me sad about that is that they were the worst. I mean, that could have been, spicy, interesting, like, just a bit of. It's a bit naughty that, but the Dylan's brother and his ex-girlfriend look like the most uncomfortable couple. Like, I know that they're guilty because they've been in a cupboard shagging or whatever, but you need some layers to make that shit real. Like just a little hint of oh my god, you're an unbelievable sex god. in the eyes. Oh my God, I can't wait for your mum to go to the pharmacy so we can bang on the ironing board. Something. But what it was just a short man and a tall, uncomfortable looking woman selling me nothing. Like all that said to me was, Dylan is such a bad boyfriend, lover, partner.
He's funny though.
He's got a hard bread roll and he takes it everywhere.
He had a checklist. The only thing that was checked off was good sense of humor. And now what brought something else.
And he's going around with that bread roll like right. This is a litmus test. Bread rolls hard.
The birds love me.
Mates. No, frigid. You're frigid and a slag.
Well, he makes a
kumbaya joke. He makes a kumbaya joke. Kumbaya is the shittest reference that's ever existed. And anyone who says, "Oh, we're around the campfire doing kumbaya," if you ever make that joke, I don't know what to say to you. Comedy's not for you. Just go and get yourself a PlayStation or something, because the whole wooing industry is not. You're not allowed it. I mean, he just about gets away with it because he's got that incredible smile when he pulls up in that SUV. But
it is nice.
That smile says great. Murder to me. It says murder. I just don't know how these films are supposed to make you believe in love, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to reinforce the idea that love is real.
Yeah.
And we can you can overcome your millionaire boyfriend who you just have to wait for his parents to die, and then you can inherit a giant fucking mansion. And look at the size of that fucking ring. Like I think my note when I saw that ring was lucky bitch. But she's horrible, he's creepy, the boyfriend's an asshole. The image of 20 years of married life is hateful, bickering. They've got a few in jokes, but they're deeply sad. Like that scene where they get into bed and they've had a nice day. It's been bonding. They did a little dance in the weird fake Christmas inn. And you thought, oh, okay, well, maybe they are going to make a change and it is going to be lovely. And then they get to bed and they, have a tense conversation. And she goes wistfully, when did we stop giving each other a kiss goodnight? And he goes, I don't know, good night, and rolls over.
Smart.
And all of this is supposed to be like making my heart glow with love. And I just, to go back to the earlier point, these films just tell you that women don't know what they want. Like you can nag and bully a woman into falling in love with you, and she will always have made. I know I've said this before, and I understand the mechanics of it. You're supposed to hate the ex-boyfriend because the soon-to-be ex-boyfriend, because otherwise the cheating is bad, so you're supposed to hate him. He's supposed to be a prick, and yeah, fine, he is, and great, but everybody in this film is so deeply unpleasant. Like that couple at the end, the old couple getting not old, they're probably about my age. That couple, at the end where suddenly Frank, who has turned his wife's overture for a bit of affection in bed the night before, he's turned her down, and then he lectures her on the doorstep about, well, we can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the relationship. Well, she was trying to be in last night and you rolled over and ignored her, you asshole. And now you're lecturing her in front of your daughter's house, because this is the place to have this conversation on Christmas Day. Like, just there's nothing about love in this film. There's no love at the core of this film. I think that's why.
Except when he pulls up in a car and looks at getting off under the mistletoe, by which he says something like, it's Christmas Eve, what's wrong with one little kiss? She's engaged, fella. But the carol singers just suddenly go like ding dong merrily on that.
That was funny.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride a one-horse open sleigh.
Also, it then pans back and Santa is like right behind them, just like rubbing his legs. It's so unsexy, so horrible.
And it feels like everybody in the universe wants them to get together, because when they finally do kiss, that's the second time they've been under the mistletoe. The first time's like, kiss him, Maxine. She's like, kiss him, kiss. Like, where is your solidarity with your fellow woman? They've just been arguing. He's been, as I said, negging and bullying her the entire trip. She's engaged to someone else. And you're like, why don't you kiss him? What's wrong with you? You fucking pervert. Just because you and your husband aren't getting it on anymore. You just want to watch. You want to watch? What's your problem?
At least the title made sense. I guess it gets one up on Jingle All the Way. The title made sense. I get it.
Yeah.
Correct.
But it makes Midnight at the Magnolia look just like Chekhov. Like, that guy was meant to be charming, and he was quite charming, and the woman was meant to be pleasant, and she was all right. I mean, she had her foibles, but she was likable enough, and I kind of believed their chemistry. Like, I don't know. I judged that film too harshly.
Midnight at the Magnolia was terrible as well.
I know.
It's about prom.
Is this about prom?
I like that one as well. So, shoot me.
I think I like that one more than this one. I think the only film I like less than this one, and it's a tough call, is A New York Christmas Wedding. I think that is...
Wow, you're putting this one right at the bottom of the pile.
Oh, I fucking hated it. Like,
oh man, I'd put this at like number 3.
No, I don't put it that low.
Yeah, so did I.
Like The Holiday. Maybe Lindsay Lohan. No, no, I don't know. Nah, Lindsay Lohan. That's good. Spoiler alert.
it's not.
She's number 3. This is number 2 then, I guess. I can't remember what else we did last year.
Oh my God. Did you even like the bit at the end where Dylan has to do his big romantic gesture, which is creepily putting a photo of himself on the vision mood board and standing in front of
He's a danger to society, that guy. He's working mind games. He's done this before.
Put him in jail.
A picture of himself around. Who carries a picture of themselves around? Just in case.
The thing is, it's a photo of them both. So he's gone to like a 1-hour photo, had it printed to stick it on. He knows where she works. Their wedding is not for 6 months. He loves her so much that he has to be with her. Why is he rushing to the restaurant in front of her potential in-laws to make her look like a cheating, flighty, lying, inconsiderate, cold-hearted bitch? Like, wouldn't you just wait until after Christmas and go, this is mine, by the way. Oh, I've just found the number for Radiant Bride on Google. Hello? Like, what the hell?
And what's wrong with Facebook? That's surely the easiest way to go about it.
Like...
It's like, fancy a rattle? No. All right. Got any mates?
But she is cold, because I love it when she breaks up with him in public in front of his parents on a whim, and then she goes, "Merry Christmas, everyone," and then walks out. I was like, oh, she's really cold.
We'll leave it one day.
Do you know what I mean?
I think there's like 2 types of parents in Christmas rom-coms as well. There's either like bitchy rich parents who are just incredibly judgmental immediately and have no redeeming features, or dead ones. There's a lot of dead
ones. I had to say that. Dead ones.
Or the silent mum, like Dylan's mum, who
his mum
stands on the doorstep with a mug of something hot, and
who's only about 8 years older than him. He's no spring chicken, that Dylan, and she looks
so
great.
Was Jack's mum as well. She was like, they're clearly in the same year at school.
She's had a lot of work done, darling.
That David Niven money's gone on.
Yeah, well, I just wish this couple all the luck in the world at the Hillsong Church that they're inevitably going to go to. Yeah, and you know
Whereas
what?
I hope they drive off a cliff next Christmas.
Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Oh, it's bloody dragging it down, Sazzie.
Red Roll gets stuck under the accelerator.
But by then he'll have graduated to 2 bread rolls and do that like bread dance from Benny and June. That
Yeah, that's funny. That
I know it was.
But you mean from Charlie Chaplin that they did again in Benny and June, don't you?
Listen, mate, I'm a child of the 90s. Fuck off.
Oh, and I'm a child of the 20s.
I don't know who Charlie Chaplin is. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was thinking it's the one they do in The Simpsons. So yeah. I was like, oh, that must be where that's come from then.
We're perfect for this podcast.
Isn't The Simpsons good?
You Denny.
And they go among the rubble, sift through all the mangled metal from the car that's driven off a cliff because a really, really hard bread roll off Benny and June was underneath the accelerator. And they look, the trunk is pretty much unscathed. And they open the trunk and they take out the vision board. And there's a picture of Thelma and Louise, that little photo from the end of it. The psycho had planned it all along.
But then they just see him standing there because the car window has just fallen, and he's just been standing in exactly the right place and it's fallen.
I'd say like Buster
from The
Keaton, but I'm
Simpsons.
sure it's been done on, I don't know, Family Guy or something for you to reference.
And then he does the face that Joe does.
The 10 out of 10 would bang. Brilliant.
That's
All
the kind
right.
of thing that Dylan would say.
Yeah, that's what he was saying
In a
to
charming moment.
that other bloke at the bar when the women went to the toilet.
When
10 out of 10, I would bang. Right, how are we going to do it? I'm going to steal a notebook and I'm going to fucking find out some information, some cheat codes in there.
Have you got any really stale food?
I have got a banger for you.
How am I going to be funny? Shit. I've been
How
trying to
can
be funny.
How can this bread roll make this Karen leave her fiance? Click on
Maybe
this
it's-
link to find out.
Maybe it's in the packet.
You'll never believe this Red Rocket team. The secrets bakers don't want you to know.
Right, we've got one more. It's Falling for Christmas. It is dog shit, but all of these are. I cannot wait for you to join us on this last one. Yeah, and we hope you enjoyed that. Say goodbye, everyone, in a lovely Christmas way.
Jingle bells.
So for those listening on podcast, Colin just did the grabbing boob mic.
Bye. Bye.
What a vision board. All right, see you later.
What a lovely Christmas we have together.
I know.
Dylan, where'd you get this?